Superintendent Lance Thorne is investigating the murder of merchant banker Charles Makepeace, whose widow Isabel is a strong suspect. Another suspect, Charles' assistant, John Field, leading a big takeover battle for Dinslow Chemicals, has discovered the murdered body of the man responsible for riots outside the Dinslow plants. Thorne's investigation turns up a tape recording of death threats made to Charles by Alison Tindell, whose late husband was involved in the chemicals battle. But Mrs. Tindell has disappeared without trace.
Me followed.
That's right, sir.
Why?
Well, let's just say I judged it desirable.
Because Charles Makepeace, huh?
Look, Mr. Field, you went back to the Carselman offices on the night Charles Makepeace died, and now we find you here in the middle of nowhere with yet another corpse. Now, I call that rather curious, wouldn't you?
Yes, but I didn't kill him.
Somebody did.
Thugs?
That's the line the police are taking.
You're hardly suggesting that Fane and Browning employ professional troublemakers.
What we are suggesting is that dirty tricks can get out of hand. Now, Mustard's operation was...
As I've made clear, we have absolutely no record of this man Mustard.
He was on your payroll.
I mean, since he retired.
Still, he worked for you for years. And now he's dead. Killed. And dumped in some very nasty chemical waste. I saw him. Now, none of this would do Phelan Browning's image any good if it came out. And you should know that, Gus. You're the PR.
Need it come out?
Depends. It could win us the takeover. But it would certainly do harm to the industry as a whole, our clients included. So we prefer not to use it.
But we do want the demos stopped.
I accept no liability as far as that goes.
Do you know the name Summit Videos?
No, I don't think so, no.
Oh, that's odd. Well, they've been covering the Dinslow demonstrations. You know where that security guard was killed?
Yes, dreadful business.
Dreadful. You hired them. So see what you can do, eh?
Or the press just may get hold of this. And quickly.
Yes, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, you do that. Good, good. Now that's all over. How about a brandy?
No, thanks. I have a party of MPs waiting to be briefed. Thanks for the lunch and the stimulating conversation.
Sure. You play poker, Gus?
Yeah, I would do if I knew of a game.
I know of one. How about I give you a call?
Yeah, not until after the takeover. Too busy until then. Well, see you on the battlefield.
See you later, Gus.
Behaves as if butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. He's got the most devious brain in the city.
Thank you very much, Joe.
B? B. Tonigan? My God, it is you, isn't it?
It is.
Last time I saw you, you were just a schoolgirl.
Dan! Dan Maitland!
Oh, look at you now. You're not a schoolgirl any longer, are you? John, this is B. Beatrice. Lady Beatrice Tonigan.
How do you do?
John Field, a new colleague of mine. Well, how long? 5, 6 years? It's been a while. You'll join us for a drink, won't you?
I can't.
Why not?
Honestly, Dan, I'm meeting Daddy. He gets cross if I drink at lunchtime, and he can always tell.
What harm can a little glass of claret do? Come on.
Oh, well.
How is the old man?
Oh,
B's father's the Earl of Glencray, a great slayer of the horned deer.
Daddy's furious because he's had to give up shooting. I met Philip the other day.
Philip?
You remember Philip, of Philip and Ollie. He said he'd seen you in Washington somewhere.
That's right. Ollie. I was going to ask you, remember Ira? Ira the Rudish.
Goodbye. Thanks very much. That was the Norfolk police, sir. They found the Tindells, mother and son.
Good. About time.
This address is?
Yeah, just out the gate, left, second on the left. Carl, that's right, isn't it?
Is that right? Yeah, up there, second on the right.
No, out the gate, second on the left.
No. It's up there, second on the right.
Well, I suppose it must be one of those.
What about my tea?
Hello. Does a Mrs. Alison Tindell live here?
Yes.
We're from the City of London Police. Perhaps you could ask her if we could have a word with her.
You better wait.
Perhaps we could come in.
No, you could not. Not until I find out if she wants to see you.
Hold on, Sergeant.
It's two fellows who say they're police officers.
Show them in, Ellen.
You can come in this way.
Go on,
Lynn tells me you're police officers.
That's right, madam. Detective Superintendent Thorne and Sergeant Valentine, City of London Police.
Detectives? Can't think why she'd want to see me. Ellen, my tea.
You are Mrs. Alison Tindell, widow of the late Charles Tindell.
Oh. Oh, you know all about me.
Did you have a son, Mr. Rupert Tindell? Are you saying that you've never heard of Charles Makepeace?
I am trying to remember. Wasn't he the minister who was sacked last week?
Mr. Makepeace was the executive of a merchant bank called Silman. He was murdered 10 days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Mr. Makepeace supplied the evidence that led to your husband being imprisoned.
Really?
Are you asking me to believe that you didn't know that?
Yes, I am.
Well, that's strange. Mr. Mandeville of the Department of Environment has admitted giving that information to your husband.
Is he really?
Now, you have heard of Mr. Mandeville.
Yes, I've remembered. We had a Mr. Mandeville used to work for us. For my husband.
And have you also remembered that Charles Makepeace was the man who informed on your husband?
I've remembered that too. Perhaps I've tried to suppress the unhappy memory. We've made a new life for us here. I was brought up here. Look what you're doing!
I'm very sorry.
Now, Mrs. Tindall, I have to ask you why you made abusive phone calls to Mr. Makepeace.
Hello. All right. Listen, you better get back home. There's two police officers asking your mother some questions about you. What have you done, Rupert?
For God's sake.
There he goes again.
Surely you felt anger about what Mr. Makepeace had done.
My son and I had suffered. Of course I felt anger.
But you deny you ever shouted abuse on the telephone.
I hardly ever raised my voice.
We have reason to believe that you made a number of such calls to Mr. Makepeace.
Have you?
Perhaps you weren't aware, Mrs. Tindell, but Charles Makepeace recorded your calls.
Mrs. Tindell, I want some straight answers to my questions about the murder of Charles Makepeace. Now, where were you on the night of the 8th of June?
My mother was here.
All right, Rupert.
She hasn't walked since my father died.
All right, Rupert, sit down.
And perhaps I'd better ask you the questions I was putting to your mother. About the murder of Charles Makepeace?
He was here with me all the time. All the time.
Mrs. Tindell was very quick to give Rupert an alibi. Rather convenient, wasn't it? What do you think, sir?
Check the times of trains to and from London. Right. Let's go and have a look at this foundry where he works.
But why do you always have to interfere? The police went on and on at him.
I thought it was the right thing to do.
Well, this is a family affair. It's not your business. Just keep your hands off him.
Look, he is over 21, you know.
You seen this yet? You better read it and digest it fast. Slough and Browning rejection circular.
Oh, they were quick.
They're digging deeper than I expected. They must have been preparing this since the first whisper of a Dinslow bid. Look at this graph they plotted of Dinslow mergers, showing trading performance going down every time.
Are the statistics out of line?
Selective. They're claiming the bids are con, but the terms of the offer give them nothing at all.
Well, I'll take it with me. Have a lunch.
With a broker? The girl you picked up at the tennis court?
Kate. She's a stockbroker. I'm having lunch with the financial editor of the Daily Telegraph, John. See you later.
No. Tindall's the manager. Rupert. I'm the foreman. Something wrong, is there?
Just routine inquiries. So, which of you is in charge?
He's supposed to be. He's hardly ever here. Always skiving off in a van.
Do you happen to recall if he skived off on the night of the 8th of June?
That was a Tuesday.
I don't remember that.
It was only 3 weeks ago.
Suppose I can look in the book.
Well, if it's not too much trouble.
Hey, look.
Yeah, here it is. Tuesday. I was working late that night. I stayed on. I can when I like. I was making this cart for my grandson for his birthday. I was here till 12. I kept wondering where the old Rupert had got to with the van. See, I had this order to take over to Cromer. Well, that's an hour's drive. Time I got back, Mrs. had hell to pay me. Supper was all burnt. So I'm not cooking you supper if you're pissing about in Cromer until midnight, this time of night. She told me all and all. Nothing I can't stand, Bert. Told me all.
I thought I'd answered all your questions.
Not quite, Mr. Tindell.
You told us that you spent the evening of June the 8th at home with your mother.
That's correct.
And that you never left the house?
Well,
We've been informed that you went off in the van at about 4 o'clock that afternoon and didn't return until after midnight.
who told you that?
Where'd you go in the van, sir? To London, perhaps?
London? I made a delivery. And then I was with Ellen. She'll confirm that.
I dare say, sir, but up until now you've insisted that you were at home with your mother all evening.
I must have confused the evenings.
And your mother made the same mistake, did she, sir?
I suppose she must have done.
Very curious, wouldn't you say? Hated Charles Makepeace, did you?
No. Certainly not.
Really? You didn't hate the man responsible for your father's death?
You don't think any of this environmental mud's going to stick to Dinslow, do you?
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, John. Chemicals are almost another name for pollution. For all that, Dinslow are a pretty responsible outfit.
What about Fane and Browning? You must have done quite a lot of research for them in the past.
Many times. Seems strange to be talking about Dinslow without Charles being here.
Oh, yes, of course. You two go back a long way.
To the war. He was my commanding officer in the Navy.
Aren't you on the same boat?
Destroyer. Charles was the captain. I was Jimmy the One, first officer. We lost sight of each other for about 20 years after that. And then I bumped into him quite by chance one day when I was up in the city. I was looking for a loan. They turned me down. Charles arranged it. And after, he put quite a lot of his own money into my company. It's ridiculous. He's hardly seen a penny of it back, and here we are on the verge of a big breakthrough. Ah, well. I hope you're still going to keep me as a consultant.
Oh, no doubt about it. You're number one in industrial pollutants. About Fane and Browning.
Last week, we signed a contract with one of the big multinationals. That's why Charles upped his stake with us. It should pay off about 20% in the next couple of years. Be a nice windfall for his wife. Mm-hmm. About Fane and Browning, we'll see what their research has come up with. One of their subsidiaries.
Oh, do tell me about it.
It's quite interesting. It's something the Americans have been playing with for years.
What's the latest figure from the receiving banks?
Levels of acceptance are up to 7%.
Sluggish. Right. Now, what's wrong with our campaign?
Well, nothing inherently. The major shareholders, like Heritage, always hold back till the first closing date. The main thing is to convince them that we're not wrecking the environment. Now, with regard to the coach tour idea...
A coach tour? What, a crate of ale and a trip round the estate?
No, sir, we'd invite major shareholders and brokers, fund managers, for a luxury tour of selected Dinslow sites. Prove there's nothing in these environmental smears. It's basically good PR. With your permission, I can get my colleague onto it straight away.
Well, Dan Maitland. Yeah, he'll know what to do.
Slap up meals, loads of booze, 4-star hotels.
Could be better.
Should soften the buggers up.
I like it, I like it, I like it. And Maitland's just the chap to give it that touch of class.
Yeah.
Been getting on with the market analysis. There's a pile of stuff in your desk. Nothing urgent.
I'm not in the mood. I got a message when I was at Dinslow. The Office of Fair Trading is querying the combined market share in the pharmaceutical subsidiaries.
Well, that was bound to happen.
It's crazy. Dinslow plus Fane and Browning only equal 22% of the British market.
So what are you worrying about?
I'm worrying about the fact that it could be referred to the Monopolies Commission.
Whereabouts in Norfolk is this cast iron place? Norfolk's not that far, is it?
No, why?
Well, I've been looking for a cast iron supplier. See, I thought we could have a gazebo in the garden. Just about here. So, I'll pop up to Norfolk and buy some from your murderer. Maybe I could even get a confession out of him at the same time.
Don't you even think about it, Millie. Do you hear?
Okay. I was only trying to help.
Diana, where the hell's the short list of names for the coach tour?
I haven't got it.
What do you mean you haven't got it?
Mr. Maitland has it.
Useless bastard. What's he done with it?
Dan's gone, I'm afraid. He caught the 6 o'clock flight to Boston. He was frightfully drunk. You know about his father, of course.
No.
He's had a heart attack.
Oh, I see.
They said he'd better hurry if you wanted to see him alive.
I'm sorry.
You bankers, don't you ever relax? Go fishing?
Don't believe in blood sports.
Would you like to see something that does go fishing? Griselda?
What is it? An otter?
No, it's an African pygmy hippopotamus.
Is it really?
You've never seen an otter before.
No, not in London.
Dan was going to look after her till I got back from Austria. I've been phoning all day trying to find someone else. I'm in a terrible fix. Can you think of anyone?
The garden's looking lovely.
Oh, don't be silly, Colin. It's going to rack and ruin. I can't be bothered with it.
But you were always such a keen gardener. Charles called you the original green finger.
Well, it's not enough. And that's the reason, well, one of the reasons why I wanted to see you.
Really?
I want to start up my firm again.
What?
I'll have to call it something different. I sold the name, but it'll be the same. Fashion.
I see. I assumed, forgive me, Isabel, that Charles would have left you enough.
Oh, it's not the money, for heaven's sake. It's something I want to do.
Well,
you said I loved gardening. Well, I did. And now I hate it because I've nothing else.
you were a very, very successful businesswoman once, Isabel. I'm sure you can do it again.
I can, if I have the capital. So you see, Colin, I need the money.
Money?
Charles's investment, well, it's my investment now. It's worth £40,000, I believe.
You're saying that you want me to buy back Charles's investment in my firm?
Yes, that's right.
That's almost funny.
What are you talking about?
Well, when you invited me here today to, in part, discuss financial matters, I brought some papers with me. You're not going to believe this, Isabel, but I was going to invite you to increase your investment.
What do you mean?
Charles wanted to put in another 10,000. I assumed you knew. Anyway, I have it all in a letter. Of course, it's not binding in law, but I hoped I could persuade you to honor it.
I didn't know anything about this.
Well, you see, when it's dated just before his death.
Your firm's not in trouble, Colin, is it?
No. But if I have to buy back your holdings, it might make things pretty sticky.
Oh, dear. You lost your best friend and a vital investment all at one blow. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll postpone everything for 1 month. And I'll look for alternative finance, and you do the same. And then we'll meet and review the situation. I don't want to make your life difficult, Colin, I really don't. But I am serious about the business.
You can get on with that grid. And you can tell Ellen she's too late to come out with me now. She'll have to get on with that bloody transfer.
Can I help you?
Oh, hi. This is terrific stuff. You see, what I want is oh, wait, I'm forgetting. I think his name is Rupert.
Rupert Tindell. He's the manager.
Is he here?
I'm afraid you've just missed him. And he won't be back this afternoon.
Ah. I really wanted to see him.
Well, he don't live far away.
So you could give me his address?
I'll just go get it for you.
Wallace, isn't it? Heritage Trust. It's John Field, Castle. Very good to meet you. I wonder if we could have a talk later. I think you'd be interested in hearing about Dinslow's positive attitudes towards environmental safety. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching our first stop of the day. Dinslow's fully computerized Shelton plant. This is a batch reaction unit incorporating full safety measures. Good morning, John Field. If we could keep them on the move and separate, you know, that's the kind of rule. Thank you.
Good morning. Morning.
Good trip.
Morning. Morning. It's the way to see the sights.
Oh, well, anything for our broker friends.
When you want an ace report, eh?
I hope you'll be satisfied, Mr. Wallace.
Morning. Morning. Good morning.
How are you doing here?
Admiring all this lovely machinery.
You weren't on the guest list.
No, but my firm was. I'll be doing an analysis for our clients. You've been neglecting me, John Field.
That's the other way around. I hear you've been seeing Daniel Maitland.
Look, I'm sorry about that. It just seemed amusing.
Oh, yes, he's very amusing. By now, he's probably one of the richest men in America.
Is he? Well, I wonder if he'd marry me. It'd be quite nice to have millions if I can't have you.
I notice we're not covering all the storage areas, Mr. Field.
Hello.
What do you want? Who are you?
I'm Millie Cardington. I've come from the foundry. Well, they said that Rupert Tindell would be here.
He's gone to the chemist for me. It won't be long.
I want to talk to him about some cast iron work.
All right, you better wait.
You stood me up. I've been waiting here all this time at the foundry.
Sorry, Ellen.
Yeah, well. Listen, there's been someone here asking for you. Seemed very keen to get hold of you.
Asked for me by name.
That's right. Christine gave her your home address.
I don't know what's keeping him. Because if they haven't got my pills at the local chemist, he'll have gone into Yarmouth.
That's a long way, isn't it?
So what? He's very good about those sort of things. But if you'd rather not wait...
I do want to wait. You see, I want him to design something for my garden. I admire the quality of his work.
Yes, my Rupert's very clever.
Yes. Yes, my friend loved his work. And as soon as I saw it, I felt just the same. You're lucky to have such a lovely view. I want him to design a gazebo for my garden.
Oh, well, if you're going to wait, you better come in and have a cup of tea.
Dinslow laying down about 50 miles worth of pipeline. I think they should be coming on Soane World another 6 months or so, but we're working hard towards it at the moment.
Are we winning?
You're still in the race? What are you doing back here?
Well, I've come to see some of the action. Driven most of the night.
How's your father?
He's recuperating nicely. He's agreed to have a bypass operation. My guess is he'll prove to be immortal. So I still need the job.
Yes. Well, I don't need you here. I need you back at the base. You can finish off the market analysis, all right?
When's it needed?
Tonight.
I'll have it. Where are you going to be this evening about 9?
In my office, of course. You're seeing a lot of that girl.
Why? What does it matter?
It's just she's probably working for the opposition. And they just like to get their hands on some nice, juicy little tidbits. I don't think it's a good idea you're seeing too much of her.
I'll have it ready by 11. See you in London.
The Eldrin. You know anything about the Eldrin?
Impressive stuff. Hope you can keep it up.
Catch you later.
We get very few visitors here. When I lived in London, I lived a very social life. When my husband died, 6 months ago, Oh, damn!
Hang on, I'll get something.
Over there. No, not that one. That one. That's it. Oh.
What a shame.
Oh, never mind. It wasn't valuable.
It must have been very hard on you. Losing your husband?
We've had our troubles. No, that's better.
What kind of trouble?
Oh, you wouldn't believe the half of it. Somebody, well, he was an enemy of our family. Look, there's a dustpan in that cupboard there.
What do you mean, an enemy?
He was responsible for my husband's death. He's been murdered. That's not all. The police are trying to prove a case against my Rupert.
But you're not saying that the police think your son is a murderer?
Millie? Millie?
The police frame people. Everybody knows that. He'll have to emigrate. I shall miss him. I couldn't bear it. All the same, I just sometimes think...
But why should he?
What? Run away?
But if your son is innocent, then surely... He didn't murder this guy.
It wasn't murder. It was simple justice.
Enjoying the tour, Mr. Wallace?
It's a splendid trip. There's one point, Mr. Field. Why isn't the Stainton plant on the itinerary?
Stainton? Dinslow had the guts to close it down. I think we're both aware of the possibility of some pretty strong legislation coming up over the environmental health and safety areas after the next election. Dinslow have been ready to take up the challenge.
Good. Just a shame I won't be able to give Dinslow the kind of report I would have liked.
That's a pity. Why not?
The Eldrin. It's a pesticide out of fashion now, superseded. There are 30 tons of it in one of the storage areas. The compartment started to deteriorate, and pretty soon it'll leak. It's a flammable substance. Must have been there, 2 or 3 years.
You're a chemist, Mr. Wallace?
No, but I know as much about chemical hazards as many who are.
Well, naturally, I'll look into this matter. And I'm sure our maintenance people are looking after things at the moment.
Pity. Thought at last I found a chemical firm that had got its safety right.
This is an isolated case, Mr. Wallace. I'm confident that we can convince Heritage shareholders of our high standards.
There's a business side, too. Nobody wants Eldred anymore. Dinslow should have foreseen the problem and taken care of it. It's a question of bad housekeeping. I'll have to make a report to our shareholders.
It's getting so late. I think I'm going to have to start getting
Oh, here
back.
he is.
Oh,
You've got a visitor. Sorry. Had to go into Yarmouth.
She's come to talk to you about...
oh, yes. I want you to make a gazebo for my garden. You were recommended by a friend.
Who's that? Mrs.?
Thorne. Cardington, sorry. It's Millie Cardington.
But you said Thorne.
Cardington. Millie Cardington.
Thorne? What's the name of that policeman?
Yes, of course it is.
Superintendent Thorne.
Are you connected with him?
Are you his wife?
I just want to buy some cast iron. You see, the thing is, this friend...
You've come here on police business, haven't you? Mrs. Thorne?